The majority of those we send to Washington are sadistic, cold-blooded opportunists that feed the American people a crock of BS through their sycophantic mockingbird media arm.
That is not true at all.
Fueling their elitist private club by using the age-old modus operandi of the Hegelian Dialectic to steal what is rightfully the property of the taxpayers. And they went big this time in the midst of a national emergency.
Are you kidding me?
The GOP tried twice and failed to pass their stimulus due to the growing subterfuge of the Democrats. And when Pelosi finally revealed her 1,400-page bill, it included the return of the Obamaphone.
Obama!
You got Obamaphone?
Yes, everybody in Cleveland, low minority, got Obamaphone. Keep Obama in president, you know?
Is it the InfoWars phone?
It's the Infowars.com phone. We changed from Obamaphone lady to the big phone.
And sought to eliminate debt held by the U.S. Postal Service, require same-day voter registration, pay off $10,000 in student debt per person, mandate that airlines reduce their overall carbon emissions by 50% by 2050, an automatic extension of non-immigrant visas, and restrict colleges from providing information about citizenship status. It would also allocate $35 million to the JFK Center for the Performing Arts and $500 million to the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Eventually, some of Pelosi's demands were stripped down and some were eliminated as the stimulus bill finally passed heavy-handedly.
There's all kind of porn in this bill. There's a provision to speed up FDA review of sunscreen products. There's money in this bill for the National Endowment for the Arts, for the National Endowment for Humanities. There's money in this bill for housing. There's money in this bill for NASA. There's money in this bill for a $500,000 water project in Utah. I think some other people in powerful positions piled on, and I don't like it. I swallowed it and said we're going to spend $2 trillion plus because the American people need it. But when I pick up this bill and see this kind of spending porn where people were taking advantage of a catastrophe for the American people, it pisses me off.
During the mad rush for a special interest bonanza, Kentucky Representative Thomas Massie did the math and asked if $2 trillion divided by 150 million workers is about $13,333 per person. Isn't that much more than the $1,200 per person check authorized by this bill? But Massie had been predictably muzzled.
Does the gentleman recognize?
I object on the basis that a quorum is not present and make a point of order that a quorum is not present.
The chair will count for a quorum. A quorum is present. The motion is adopted.
There's a big cover-up in there.
You believe it's a cover-up, sir?
Well, they're trying to cover up their votes. They had enough people there to pass the bill, but they still refused to have a recorded vote. And they told me they were trying to protect members.
Large number of Congress members had to be in the House chamber and risk infection to themselves and others because of one arrogant member. If anyone gets infected, blood is on Rep. Thomas Massie's hands. How do you respond?
Think about the arrogance of these congressmen. They're telling the truckers to keep driving so that their grocery stores will have groceries. They're telling the UPS drivers to keep bringing their Amazon packages. They're telling the bagger at the grocery store to keep bagging those groceries. But these congressmen make $174,000 a year. They've got the best health care that you can buy these days right now. And they're telling people that that the congressmen need to stay home, but everybody else needs to work for them. I think that's the wrong message, but that really gives you a glimpse into how some of these people in Washington, D.C. think.
And as the drama unfolded, President Trump may have managed to pull the rug out from under the Federal Reserve. As Kellen McBreen reported, President Trump could be pulling off a major move that has the potential to save America and its economy as the nation faces one of its most difficult periods in recent history. A Bloomberg opinion article written by Jim Bianco explains how the federal government is nationalizing large swaths of the financial markets. The Fed is providing the money to do it, the authors state. The scheme essentially merges the Fed and the Treasury into one organization. So meet your new Fed chairman, Donald J. Trump. How could this happen? Essentially, the Federal Reserve has created multiple new programs lately that serve a slew of purposes. The Treasury will make an equity investment in each of these programs, meaning they, not the Fed, purchases the securities and backstopping of loans, and the Fed is acting as a bank providing financing. Bianco writes, in effect, he says the Fed is giving the Treasury access to its printing press, an event 100 years overdue that is revolutionary because America's founding fathers granted the power to print coin to Congress and Congress alone. They don't call him President Trump for nothing. John Bound reporting.